my name is Sam. Thanks for checking out this video. If you get to the end and liked it, then subscribe, bell notification, give the video a thumbs up. I know it's been a rough week. If you are going to protests, please stay safe. And if you are Canadian, please stop saying, tweeting, posting things on social media saying, Canada doesn't have a racism issue. Bish, yes, we do. For a few minutes, I was like, maybe I just shouldn't do this. I just need to detach, like, completely from the world right now. Just talk about books. Everything is depressing and infuriating, and it's just, yeah. I did not get as much reading done this week as I was hoping to, partially being because I started watching King Eternal Monarch to try and block out everything else going on in the world for just an hour or whatever. And I got super into it and just obsessed with it, and like I kept wanting to just rewatch episodes instead of being a productive adult. So I didn't read as many books this week, but I did read some. So first up, I read King of Fools by Amanda Foody. This is a sequel to Ace of Shades. Queen of Volt is supposed to come out, I think it's September, I want to say, unless it got pushed. But I'm incredibly excited for it after what happened in this. I don't think I could actually say anything about this summary without spoiling Ace of Shades completely. So, all of the same great characters. It's a lot more political maneuvering heavy because we do bring in one of the casino boss's sons, which is kind of a big thing. It throws a whole new wrench into this entire chaos, as well as what's going to happen after everything that happened with the game at the end of Ace of Shades, if that makes any sense. I loved, especially the two main characters, I loved how much they grew. Just, like, the book is big, but I feel like it had a purpose. It really, like, you saw so much growth in someone like N. Is it N or L? Is it yeah, N. N especially, like, she's, I can't say that. No, I can't. How do it? I can't say anything about that without spoiling Ace of Shades. She grows, like, an awful lot because she has to take on all these new roles, especially. But we have all those, like, things still from Ace of Shades. So, I feel like it was one of those few books where I'm like, oh, book 2 is not a disappointment from book 1, and then we're going to have a good wrap-up in book 3, hopefully. I think it was just, like, consistently just as good as Ace of Shades, in my opinion. I really loved it. I loved getting to see all of the characters kind of. The relationships were definitely tested an awful lot in this book, for sure, with all of the political maneuvering going on. There's an election going on, and everything that ties into elections in our world that you can imagine is kind of heightened a little bit more with everything going on in this world. So, absolutely loved. The ending blew me the frick away. I don't know what the hell to do with myself until I get Queen of Volt in my hands, but I'm very excited for that when it does come. I also picked up Shadow School Book 1 called Archimancy by J.A. White. The Book 2 is supposed to come out, I think, also in September. There's a ton of book releases in September. But for the longest time, I kept looking at me like, what the heck is Archimancy? And it is explained in this book. Don't you worry. But the kids go to a school it's like Midwest, I think, of the United States. And naturally, it's like essentially like a haunted house that, for tax reasons, the people that, like, now own it can't pay the taxes on it because, like, the descendants and the money's gone and whatever. So the community uses it as, like, a public school. So the kids are going there, and naturally she sees ghosts and realizes one of the other students at this school sees ghosts, and they want to figure out exactly what that is. The teachers all act super weird too and they're like, well, we think they know that there's ghosts. Like, so there's a bunch of weird things happening, and they want to figure out why they're seeing ghosts, what their purpose is. Some of them they see ghosts and then the ghost disappears. That's supposed to happen. And how the parents are all tied in. And we find that there's a bunch of hidden secret passageways, as there always are in old mansion-y houses. And it was really fun. It was really, really fun. And the architect of the building, the original building itself, was an archimancyist, I guess. I don't know how the heck you would say that, but he's like an architect engineer and then gets involved in, like, the paranormal world and, like, tries to build a house where the paranormal comes. It's very interesting, and it was a cool concept. I don't think I've ever read anything like that. So, definitely going to pick up the sequel. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. This is a really fun middle grade. I really like J.A. White's writing all the time. And the main cast, there is a girl who is mixed race Chinese, and the boy is Persian, I believe. So there is some representation in there that way. I also picked up Fairyside by Robert Jackson Bennett as a reread because my hold for Shortfall came in a little early. I'm so happy about that. And I got one chapter into Shortfall and realized, oh, I don't remember most of what happened in Fairyside anymore. So I reread Fairyside, and I'm so happy I did. I didn't appreciate the ending as much as I should have the first time I read it, and if you read this book, you will know everything that happens at the ending. It's not like a big necessarily like cliffhanger, but so many like just pulling cards, like Uno reverse cards out of his back pocket at the end. I loved that so much. It was so freaking good. I loved the cast. I loved the concept of like the abilities of magic here. Like there's so many scenes where like materials will do what you tell them to do, right? So there's like, is that like a building, like it's telling the wood that is building a house that it has to stay strong and stay stable. But then you can like convince that with restrictions, if you have ever coded, you will understand, like you put limitations on every like what's the word, on every search that you're running. You have to put a limiter on it, whether that's like only give me back a certain amount of results or only pull things from this column or whatever it may be. That's like kind of what's happening in this world. And there's some of these scenes where they're like interacting with like an inanimate object, like a doorknob or a door or whatever, and they're like convincing it that actually, because someone who created this item didn't put a limiter on like what actually a minute is, you can convince that object of how long a minute is to your benefit. So if the door's only supposed to be unlocked for 1 minute, you can be like, oh, but you didn't get the notice, like a minute is actually 400 and bajillion seconds, and it's like, oh, okay, oh, I should be open, and then you can go through a locked door, right? So it's really, really fascinating. I love that so much, and I really enjoy the cast, but the Uno reversing at the end is just so good. And I also picked up and finished Shortfall this week, which was the sequel to Fairyside. I'm waiting for the paperback to come out because my first book is in a paperback format, so I'm waiting. It still hasn't even been like pre-order posted, so I'm assuming it's not going to come out for like a year. But I have at least read it now and will eagerly await the news on the third book whenever that does happen. Again, big ending, lots of like backstabbing, and I have trust issues now after this book for sure. It's another one that I don't think I could explain much of the plot if you haven't read book one, because the ending of book one is like I said, it's like a big Uno reverse card gets pulled, but I can't spoil it because it got me out of left field, and I don't want to deprive someone of that. But I think if you liked Fairyside, you will like this. It gets a little bit more political conflict, whereas I feel like the first one was a little bit more adventuring along with the political conflict, and we have this cast, which is just, I love them so much. But, you know, everyone has weaknesses and alliances and, you know, a background. So that always plays into what they can be used for by evil people, if you know what I mean. So absolutely love Shortfall. It was another one that, like King of Fools, did not disappoint based on how much I loved the first book, Fairyside Ace of Shades. So this was, even though I didn't read a ton of books this week, I read a ton of really, really good books. And other than that, I'm working my way through the last spell breather. I'm hoping to get it done this weekend. Hope. I keep getting distracted by the King Eternal Monarch K-drama. I just don't have self-control around that book or TV show. Oh my god, I'm like messing up my work. Anyways, I will link these books in the description box down below. I will link all of my social media. Please stay safe and help your community however it needs to be helped, because I promise you that there is someone in your community that needs help. So